I generally take a few days to digest a news article before I bring it to you. And today, I'm glad I do. Because as I've learned more about what's been going on in our cities the last couple of weeks, it has led me to think deeper about how we should react. So let's take some time and ponder the riots next on the Constitution.
There's one thing you have to know wherever you make your stand. Came from a long through line of everyday Americans.
Hello there, everyday Americans. Paul Engel here with the Constitution Study, where we read and study the Constitution and we teach the rising generation to be free. I am glad you could join me. As always, please head to that website, constitutionstudy.com. You can find everything Constitution Study related. I've had people asking me about some of my older articles. They're all up there. My old podcasts are there. The store is there. The newsletter. Everything you can find is right there. That is the place to go. It's a place to ask questions. It's the place to make comments. It's the center for everything we're doing here with the Constitution Study. It looks like things are starting to open up a little bit. Looks like I'm going to be in North Dakota in August. I'm trying to set up some other events. So if you have an event or you know an event that I might be interested in, either in participating or just attending, well, please head to the website and do a speaker request. Give me a clue, and we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can make it happen. With that, let's ponder riots and what's been going on lately. The first thing I want to mention is we have a right to peaceably assemble. Now, I'm going to focus on that word peaceably because that's important. The Constitution of the United States says that Congress can make no law abridging your right to peaceably assemble. And the constitutions of all the 50 states have the right to peaceably assemble and to petition your government for a redress of grievances. Let me say right off the bat, what happened to George Floyd looks horrendous. I cannot think of anything that would justify what was done to him. But then again, I do not have all the facts. Now, I support all of those who are peaceably assembling, peaceably protesting what happened to George Floyd and the unknown number of unnamed other individuals who's had something like this happen to them. But we have to give the legal system a chance to work. The officer videoed kneeing on Mr. Floyd's neck. He has been charged with murder and manslaughter. And the other officers there, well, they've been charged with aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter. Yes, the video evidence seems pretty straightforward, but these men have a right to their day in court and for their case to be heard by a jury of their peers. That takes time. So to those who are protesting police brutality or excessive force, those who were involved have been charged. What more do you want at this point? Why are you disturbing innocent people? Why are you keeping them from opening their businesses? What have they done to earn your ire? When you deprive someone of the liberty to live and go about their business without interference, well, you become the criminal. You tarnish the memory of George Floyd and you embarrass his family. So why do you do it? Especially before the system has even had the time to prosecute the accused. It's not like these men have escaped justice, at least not yet. Also, there is a distinct difference between a peaceable demonstration and a riot. It should go without saying that people who are burning cars, assaulting people, breaking in, looting, burning, this is not peaceable. So to everyone who is looting, damaging, and assaulting these neighborhoods, well, you are petty thugs, criminals, and miscreants. You deserve to be arrested, tried, and in some cases placed in the exact same prison the man who killed George Floyd appears to be going to. And to all the government officials that are letting these thugs terrorize your neighborhoods, you're a disgrace. You are derelict in your duties. You are a stain on the idea of rights and justice. You swore an oath to uphold the constitutions both of your state and of the United States. And here you are ignoring that oath and letting the very rights you swore to protect be destroyed right before your eyes. If you are not willing to do your job when things get tough, then get out of office. If law enforcement is more worried about their safety than the citizens they claim to protect, well, they should find another job. And the next time you see someone claim they don't need a weapon to defend themselves because we have police, remind them of the officers who stood down when people needed protecting, when people's lives and health were in danger, when their property was in danger, when their livelihood was in danger. When all they had was them between the mob and their property and their family, and the police stood by and did nothing. Remind them of that fact the next time they say, well, we've got police, why do you need a gun? To those in the media, both social and otherwise, who are supporting and praising these hooligans, in some cases, funding their bail. You are a useless bunch of hypocrites. You would be up in arms if it was your home, your business, or your family that was endangered by these riots. Stop pretending you care at all for the poor people whose lives are being destroyed as you pay to get the rioters out of jail, as you use your own money to get the people who are violating these people's rights out of jail. Just as the rioters should be charged with their crimes, you should be charged with aiding and abetting, if not legally, morally. And before you claim the First Amendment protection against being charged, remember the right to freedom of the press does not come with a get out of jail free card. When you use your position to falsely slander or to incite riot, you can be charged. Now, you can say or print whatever you want, but you should also be held accountable for the consequences of what you say or what you print, and not just for libel, but for incitement to riot. And lastly, to the citizens and victims of these riots, I hope you'll remember these days. I hope you remember these days and these media personnel that are praising the rioters the next time you go out to buy a newspaper or decide what news to watch. I hope you'll remember the social media posts and the quote-unquote celebrities and pundits who think these riots are just wonderful and don't worry about it, you'll all get your stuff back. Remember that the next time you go to consume news and information. I hope you'll remember these days when the next few elections roll around, not just this November, but for the next several years. Remember the failure of those elected officials. Remember the oaths they ignored. Remember the dereliction of their duties. Then remember they worked for you. And a vote, well, it's like a job review for those elected officials. So the next time you walk into a polling place, ask yourself, how did the elected official you're about to vote for do? Did they uphold their oath? Did they protect your rights? Or did they stand back and let your rights be trampled by a bunch of miscreant hooligans with nothing better to do than rob other people out of greed? The answer is up to you, America. You have the elected officials you have because the majority of the people who voted for them. If they're not going to protect your rights, why should you protect their jobs? So I hope the rest of America looks at the plight of the victims of the riots. Let's look at the plight of George Floyd and allow the justice system the opportunity to punish the person who killed him and the people that stood by and watched it happen. Let's find all the information. Let's use the legal process to get both sides of the story and allow a jury of peers to look at the evidence and decide how guilty these people are. Was it murder? Was it manslaughter? Let's give the justice system a chance. Now, if the justice system fails, well, then the answer is not to destroy your neighborhood. The answer is to fix the justice system. And you can't do that by robbing Target or burning down a pharmacy or burning cars. You do that by getting involved and electing better officials. Now, to all of us who have not been directly impacted by the riot, let's have a heart for the people who have. If you can help them, please do. But let's not forget that the main difference between what's happened to them and what's happened to us is a question of geography, not philosophy. Until we start acting and protecting the rights of others, there'll be no one to stand around and protect our rights when they're under attack. And just as people stand by and let these places be burned and looted, the life and livelihood of these people, their homes, their businesses, their property, What makes you think anyone will stand up if the mob comes after you? I don't know why this happened right after the COVID-19 fiasco, but it shows just how thin a veneer liberty has become in America. When the American people, both the rioter and the pundit, don't care about the rights of the people, just the agenda they have. Maybe we should think about that the next time we're deciding where to get our news, which advertisements we should follow, which businesses we should do business with, and which officials we should vote for. And if that gave you something to think about, hopefully you'll come back next time on the Constitution Study.